Good morning. It is Thursday, March the 11th, and this is The Drill. Thank you, and this is the daily guidance for spiritual warfare. Greater am I in you than he that is in the world. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. You are no longer controlled by your sinful nature, but by my Spirit who lives in you. I have raised you up that I might display my power in you, and that my name might be proclaimed in all the earth. Keep my words and store up my commands within you. Guard my teachings as the apple of your eye. Bind them on your fingers, write them on the tablet of your heart. Because my power is at work within you, you will be able to do immeasurably more than all you ask or imagine. Prayer declaration. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. God's Spirit dwells in me and has given me life. I am able to do immeasurably more than all I could ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within me. God will continue to fill me with the knowledge of his will through all the wisdom and understanding that the Spirit gives, so that I may live a life worthy of the Lord and please him in every way. Amen. And that was the daily declaration for spiritual warfare. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host and the only true conservative in the United States today. Thank you. So one of the issues that Hugh Hewitt is talking about is the issue of the border and what's all the children that are coming across and whatnot. Again, the answer for you and me because if you'll notice, there's a big disconnect on the border and a lot of other issues between what it is the government is doing and what it is that the people are doing and or expected to do. Right now, the government is expected to do everything and the people nothing. The problem with that is that law enforcement begins with the individual. The individual is the first line of law enforcement. If a crime is being committed, then the individual must notify the appropriate authorities. And if the individual fails to do that, then the crime is going to go undetected. Now, in some places, not reporting a crime is a crime. That's how seriously that's taken. If you don't report a crime, you are committing a crime. And it is true morally, even if it is not so legally. So where do you and I come in and fit in to this law enforcement angle when it comes to the border? When you're out and about and you hear people talking about, and very often they're bragging about being illegal aliens, you drop a dime. Or, at the very least, what you do is you tell people, I'm dropping a dime on illegal aliens. When the subject comes up of illegal aliens, hey, if these fools want to come streaming across the border, every time I hear about they're here illegally, I'm going to drop a dime on them. I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call ICE. Now, stop and think about that for a second. You have an administration right now that is basically saying, come one, come all. But what if the world got the message that, yes, the government may welcome you with open arms, but nobody else in the United States will. None of the real people, the citizens, are going to accept you. You're going to have to live underground, because if you surface even for a second, they will call ICE and you will be deported. So you're going to live like the fugitive that you are. Imagine that gets around the world. How many people are going to be willing to flood the border under those circumstances? And what we have here is, again, that disconnect where we expect that the government is going to automatically do what it's supposed to do, automatically meet its responsibilities. But we have a problem with that because we have the permissive parent in the form of the Democrat that says, do whatever you want. That always says, yes. Can I have ice cream? Sure you can. Can I have pizza? Sure you can. Can I stay home from school today? Sure you can. And then when things go bad for that child, their teeth are rotting, they're getting fat, they're not learning anything, they don't know how to read, then permissive parent blames restrictive parent. It's the Republicans' fault. It's the conservatives' fault. And we got to quit playing the game. It's time, long past time, we divorce the Democrats. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it until we actually get there. Divorce the Democrats. They're a bad parent. They're a bad influence. They don't care. Allowing to happen what is going on the border, or reported or rumored to be going on the border, is absolute irresponsibility, an abdication of one's authority. And authority and responsibility are commensurate. So that means you and I need to do what we can do: pick up the phone, drop the dime, talk to people about it, talk to your friends and relatives, tell them you're fed up. You don't tell them, well, I'm fed up. I'm going to be voting for Joe Schmo in 2 years, or I'm going to be voting for Donald Trump in 4 years. It's 4 years too late. 2 years too late. You tell them, I'm going to do something about it now. Every time I hear about somebody that's an illegal alien, I'm calling ICE. And if you're, a lot of times you're going to run into people that are in restaurants, that are working in restaurants. Oh yeah, I'm here illegally, ha ha ha. There's a saying in Spanish from a group, I think it was called Los Mocosos, and they say, soy ilegal, ¿y qué? And it means, I'm illegal, so what? Okay, I'll give you some so what. I'll drop a dime on your ass, and you can spend the rest of your life underground looking over your shoulders. So even if you don't drop the dime, if you tell people that you're doing so, psychologically, that's very, very powerful. If people are going to sneak across the border, and I suppose that no matter what, we're never going to get to the point where it's perfect, but we can reduce the amount of people that are trying to get across the border. But if you're going to do it, you're going to pay the price, and they need to know that. We're not going to sit around and shield people from the consequences of their actions. It's immoral. So as the the so-called coronavirus, I like to call it the communist flu, winds down, one of the things that, as I'm thinking about how did we get in this position, lockdowns and crockdowns and dockdowns and whatnot, how do we get into this position? We're the most powerful people on the face of the earth, the freest and therefore the most powerful. How did we end up cowering in our own houses? And it's simple. It's insurance. It really comes down to insurance and lawsuits, lawyers and insurance companies. That's who's really running this country during the communist flu. It's not the governor. It is not the president of the United States. It's not any of the department heads. It is the insurance companies and the lawyers. For instance, if you want to, the people that we should be picketing is, instead of we want things to open up, we don't go out and picket the LAUSD, or we don't go picket the mayor's office or the governor's office, as people have done. That's ridiculous. They work for us. We don't ask their permission for anything. We tell them what to do and they do it. So who should we picket? IBM, Apple, wherever the hell it is that you work. If you work at the local gas station and they've shut down, that's where you picket. Open this building now. So why do they refuse? Why do the vast majority of people shut down? Simple. Fear of lawsuits. Fear of being dropped from insurance. Okay, this is one of the drawbacks of mandatory insurance. Another thing that's got to go in this country. It has to go. Okay, we do not need insurance companies running our lives. We do not need lawyers running our lives. The insurance companies tell the business to shut down or they will be dropped. Why? Because because they give a damn about everybody's life? No. Because they give a damn about their profits. They know if the business stays open, somebody gets COVID while they're in or says they got the communist flu while they were on your property, guess what? You're going to get hit with a summons. That business is going to get hit with a summons. IBM is going to get hit with a lawsuit. So if our so-called leaders really want to lead, what they should do is pass a law that's saying for the duration of this communist flu, every business in this country will be exempt from lawsuits arising from the communist flu or the COVID-19. That's how they can be effective. That's how they can be truly representatives rather than leaders. But we have too many people on the left that see this as a crisis, and they think, ooh, let me check the book on Saul Alinsky. I think I remember reading something about that. Oh, yes, here it is. It says, don't let a good crisis go to waste. No. Get off your dead ass and vote for a bill that shields every company, every school and school district in this country from lawsuits arising from COVID-19. That's your job. And that's what we need to let the politicians, let our servants know. Remember, up on the Hill, 535 servants, not leaders. They're not CEOs. They don't direct anything. They're butlers. 535 butlers. They do as they're told or else. I'm listening to John and Ken, and they're talking about the teachers union that made a deal with the district to have kids start coming back to school. I guess they were feeling the pressure. But what they did is they were sneaky about it. They didn't agree to have any teachers in the classrooms yet until their demands are met. They said, fine, you want to put the kids into the classrooms, but we'll still do distance learning. They will just do it inside a classroom instead of doing it from home. And so this is crap. This is absolute crap. But again, when you're dealing with the left, you always ask yourself, what is it they're doing? And what they're doing here is obeying one of Alinsky's diktats for the left, which is rules for radicals, which is never let a good crisis go to waste. So you have the communist flu that's raging, and that's the crisis. So they have the opportunity now to try to renegotiate their contracts in a manner of speaking, and because they have power. Everybody wants kids to go back to school, but the teachers union is the one that's going to decide whether or not the teachers are going to participate, cooperate, and show up in the school to give the instruction. So they make all kinds of demands, and in essence, holding everybody hostage, committing what amounts to extortion. Now, this is what happens when you have public employee unions. This is why I say that the true conservative opposes public employee unions. That's the political issue du jour. Okay, for every true conservative, instead of the environment as being the issue is public employee unions. Where do you stand on public employee unions? And the true conservative says no, never, ever. And this is a classic example of why you say no, never, ever. Because we have people that are supposed to be working for us that are now going to make our lives miserable. Instead of working for us and doing what they can to make our lives better and the lives of our children better, they're going to try and make us all miserable and do it for money. So, now what can you do about this? What we can do about it is use the same tactic that Galinsky advises the teachers and the other union members and lefties to use, and that is, don't let a good crisis go to waste. Since we are all true conservatives and we know that all public employee unions have to go, they have to be decertified immediately, then that's our demand. The teachers union makes a demand. The taxpayers, I don't care what the school board says, because what's important here is the taxpayers. The taxpayers say that we demand, not only do we demand that the teachers either go back to work or be stripped of their pay, or as a matter of fact, be stripped of their pay until such time as they go back to work. Not only that, but that the school district has to decertify these teachers' unions and do so immediately. Failure on the part of the school district to go ahead and do that will mean that we, the taxpayers, will simply quit paying taxes. School districts are run on property taxes, and everybody in the county that owns property, is simply going to thumb our nose at the authorities. That means the teachers aren't going to get a nickel. And if you want to try to come and take our property, you're going to have to do so by force. Okay, or as a matter of fact here, let's raise the stakes yet again. You want to come and take our property? Maybe that's what the union says. Okay, well then we'll just take your property. That's fine. And before that happens, I will burn it to the ground. And then it's worth nothing. And you get no money. You get zero. So if you see what I'm doing here and see what I'm suggesting, they can get radical. We can get radical too. And ultimately, the power is ours. And ours, I mean taxpayers. Without the taxes, they get no money. They get no money to pay union dues. The union dues, or the union then dissolves. Okay, so that, when you're thinking of asking, what can I do about it? That's what you can do about it. Now, there may be people say, well, wait a minute, I don't want to lose my house. Too late. Too bad for that. Okay, we should have dissolved these unions long ago, years ago, decades ago. These unions should have been dismantled. We didn't do it, so now the stakes are much higher. Now we have no choice. It's put up or shut up time. Okay, there is no easier, softer, kinder, gentler way. Mother may I. It's not going to happen. You may think, well, but why don't we vote in some new politicians? Stop and think about it. The reason we don't is because the unions won't allow it. Why do you think that Gavin Newsom is in Sacramento? Think that was an accident? What about the mayor of L.A.? Do you think he's an accident? No. Nobody gets elected to any position of authority in this country, but particularly in this state and in this county, without the permission of the unions, particularly the public employee unions. So you think we're going to do something kind and easy and gentle as vote our way out of this? You're out of your mind. It isn't going to happen. There's a business in Burbank that is on the verge of getting shut down. They have been defying the lockdown. Good for them. I'm damn glad they're doing it. Excuse me. And but they've been stripping him slowly but surely. Stripped him of his health certification, stripped him of his business license, and he's still going. He's still going. So it's too bad more of us didn't do that. So now he's looking at a lot of fines and whatnot. But I'm willing to pitch in on a, charitable, somebody wants to organize something online. I'd be willing to pitch in money to help him out. But the point is, he understands the gravity of the situation. That there's no nice. There's not going to be any making nice with people. especially people like the mayor of the city of Los Angeles, who has actively encouraged people to snitch on each other. How did he put it? Snitches don't get stitches, snitches get riches. And that's ridiculous. So, if we're going to do something about it, that's what has to be done. Now, there are people who are thinking, also talking about moving out of state or moving somewhere else. So, you'll sell your property, move somewhere else, do all that hassle, and you're going to move into a district that has another teachers union. And you're going to end up with the same damn problems. With teacher unions, police unions, fire department unions, etc. Strike while the iron is hot. Use this crisis to our advantage. And again, demand that the teachers be stripped of pay until such time as they go back to work, and demand that the unions be disbanded.